Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are live.
Yeah, Robert is waiting in the attendance list. That's good. Yeah.
Let me make him panelist, and let me also add you as a co-host, I think. Yeah, so you can also promote. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
That's good. Hey, how's it
going?
Hey guys. Sorry, my babysitter hasn't arrived yet, so.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, do you want to host, Ulysses?
As you wish. Okay, well, let's try.
You do it. It's good to have another host other than me, so I'm quite happy right now.
Yeah, today's an easy agenda, so I hope I can make it. Yeah. So before we start, anyone has any special announcements?
I have couple of announcements. We finally merged Ada to Node 18, which is kind of good. After we merged it, someone found a super edge case on Ada, meaning that we don't lowercase character Z. That's the only edge case. There's an offset problem that we somehow
Would it be an idea to add some fuzzy testing to Ada?
We also have some fuzzy testing, but somehow it slipped off. And I think we need to improve the fuzzy testing. Yeah. So Ada version 2.0 is merged, and it's going to be released with Node 20. This means that we are going to have a lot of performance boost. And there are several improvements on the ESM side. Couple of them got merged. Couple of them are still pending. For example, we see a 8% importing a module performance boost because of FS file stat replacement. I have that pull request open for 2 months, I guess, but there's an issue with the Windows build, and somehow a single test is failing, and that's why it's pending right now. But other than that, everything is going really smoothly. And one major announcement that we should also mention is the off-thread pull request is finally merged after 6 months, 7 months. There are a couple of people working on that for a really long time, and it's good to finally.
Was that off-thread for all loading, or just for third-party loading?
It's for import meta resolve. So any import is synchronous right now, as far as I know. And if we are isolating it, we are imitating synchronous approach. So it has the same behavior as the browser side, which is super good. So that's it from my side. Any other announcements?
Not from my side, but I might ask you if you can promote to panelists for the people waiting on the chat. I cannot make them now panelists. I don't know why. I think I transferred to the host and then
I'm doing that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, fantastic. I think so. That's for the announcement. So I think we can jump to the first topic of the agenda, which is going to be issue number 64, which is related to the next collaborator summit session proposal. So what do we have in mind? I see 3 main topics that seems quite interesting and related, right? Related to WebStream, benchmarking, and benchmarking CI/CD and HTTP, and talk a little bit about that as well and the improvements. So sounds good.
I mainly want to talk about Ada because the changes towards Ada and the URL parser and moving certain fields into lazy loading has an impact on performance, and we need to be aware in order to use it internally in the node. This means that we shouldn't call url.protocol every time, and we should make it as a variable and store that and then call it because of the lazy getter. So I'm planning on talking about it for like as long as it needs. I don't know the time frame for it. But yeah, that's it from my side.
That's good. For the benchmarking part, the idea is to have like an open discussion about how we can do a better integration with the current CI, or it's more like how contributors can use it and take advantage of it.
I think right now benchmark CI configurations live inside Node.js benchmark repository, which is read-only, and there are some issues with it. I opened several issues to the build repository, but I think we need to, it's my opinion, by the way, let me rephrase that. I think we should give the responsibility of benchmark CI to the build working group, because we don't have the expertise. And we need to somehow improve the benchmarking CI flow so that it executes flawlessly and it doesn't crash, and like it works flawlessly.
Does the build team have bandwidth for it?
I don't think so. So it's that's why I said like I think we should move it.
I will say like after Node 20 release, maybe we can start thinking more think aside. But yeah, I see some options there. I mean, at least I'm interested on helping on that way. So as I'm halfway between build team and this one too. So maybe I can try to build some bridge and help on this. So yeah. No, not that I have a lot of idea on all the build part related to that, but if I can give an extra hand, it will be nice.
Perfect. So yeah, it's like if we can actually talk about these kinds of things in the collaborator summit, it would be beneficial for all of us, because mostly we add benchmark CI required label right now, and due to benchmark CI failing, we are postponing those kinds of things, and there's no way to code regressions and those kinds of things right now.
Makes sense, yeah. Any other topic or ideas that we can maybe bring to the table for the collaborator summit?
Maybe introducing V8 Fast API, the context of it to the collaborators might make sense. Even though we have a documentation right now, people think that it's quite hard to add it, and it's good to receive some feedback. Yeah, Robert?
No, I think it's hard.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good session.
In my honest opinion, I don't think it's hard, but C++ and making the connection of why we need a fast API, it's quite ambiguous, and even the documentation that I wrote in the contributing folder is quite ambiguous, and it's really hard to grasp the main ideas behind why do we even need the fast API and what are the limitations. So, but one of the good sides is that a couple of days ago, Kafra added can parse, so V8 fast API to url.canparse function, and while doing that, Kafra found some issues with the documentation, and I think they're going to update it in a couple of days. This means that like there are some ongoing process and people adding V8 Fast API, which is beneficial to the whole project as well.
Yeah, makes totally sense. I think that's good. So yeah, I will say that we can leave the issue open for a while, right? There is not a specific deadline. Well, I think there is a deadline for the proposals to be submitted, I think, but we can leave the issue for a while. So if some people that are watching us or just reply that after and they have some ideas, so maybe they can submit and we can still discuss this offline.
Yes, that's good.
That's good. Okay, so next topic in the agenda, it's related to add remove handlers are slow on event target. That's issue 60. Let me put that on the chat as well. As far as I remember, I saw some pull requests that got merged on Node related to that. I think adding some benchmarking. I don't remember by heart, but
I think it got merged into Node 18. The benchmark code was the issue from last meeting still is here.
Yeah. Oh, I put in the chat the pull request that I mentioned. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was merged, but I think there are still other things open, right?
Yeah, this pull request does not include certain things that we originally have to benchmark. I think it was in the previous meetings notes, and we can just add a reference to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this doesn't actually solve the problem of the slowness. It just adds a benchmark for the specific thing we want to optimize for.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let me see if I can find the notes from the previous meeting.
Here's the. Let me share with you the.
Oh,
URL.
fantastic. Yeah, I think the key thing maybe is like there is no one working on it right now. Maybe I think that hasn't changed, right? So
I think we can remove it from the agenda until somebody actually picks it up.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Should we add also the help wanted tag kind of thing?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be like a good first issue. Potentially no. But yeah, maybe we can bring some new faces helping us.
I don't think help wanted means
Help wanted will be good.
Doesn't mean good first issue. We have a good first issue also.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So I think we can jump to the next one potentially, unless you want to add anything else. Okay. So next topic in the agenda. Oh yeah. Oh, next topic in the agenda is Boon and Deno comparison. It's topic. I mean, it's issue 55.
Yes.
I think we all agree that it's a really good idea, right?
We talked about it in the last meeting. There was a consensus towards moving my benchmarks to the performance repository, but I just wanted to leave this issue for visibility in case somebody wanted to object to it, and I didn't receive any objection in the issue as well as like personally. I can do that. So in a summary, this means that my repository node benchmarks will live inside Node.js performance. This means that we have a candid and honest comparison between runtimes and where Node.js stands between those things. The goal of this benchmarks is not to show or compare Node with others, but to see regressions and where we lack or where we are strong compared to other JavaScript runtimes. So I think it will be beneficial for
it gives hints where we could be faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also good to see the performance comparison between WebKit and V8, which is also beneficial for the V8 team as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall it's going to be a good discussion opening for the community also, you know, in terms of comparison, benchmarking, discussion, potential opportunities. Yeah, sounds super good. We will require some support from the build team.
No, I don't think we should build these things. This is mostly for Node developers that want to run benchmarks and to put them all together. Like we should, I don't think we should have a CI that runs this. If in the future we want to do that, yes, that's possibly available. But right now, I don't think that's the case.
Okay, sounds good. So then I think last topic in the agenda is regarding fetch. So that's issue 11.
Yes. By the way, the people in this meeting, can you put your names in the Google document for future reference into the present section? Yes. Sorry for the interruption there.
That's fine. Yeah, so I'm not really following what's going on with this fetch issue. So I think last comment was with Matteo Colina, but yeah, from Matteo Colina, but not very sure.
Yeah, I mean, we have done some. I'm a little on the fence here because now we're kind of going places where we're no longer fully spec compliant in order to gain performance, which is not quite somewhere I would like to be, like with the headers implementation. But yeah, the idea here was that we asked Raphael to do another analysis of where we are with fetch, but I think at the end of the day, it's never going to be as fast as non-fetch implementations, just because of limitations in the spec, unless we implement it in C++ or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'm not quite sure how much more effort we want to put into fetch. Actually, how are we relative to like Deno here? Because if we're as fast as Deno, I kind of think we're done.
So if couple of months ago, I actually ran a benchmark inside Bun's repository. In terms of I/O comparison, we are faster than Bun and Deno, but if you increase the file size and if you introduce streams into the process, we became slow and slow. So I don't have any specific benchmarks for it, but after we add the benchmarks to the Node.js performance repository, we can have small different benchmarks for these kinds of things.
I think that's down to web streams and not fetch per se. So it would be interesting to have some benchmarks between Bun and Deno and Node web streams and see if we can see the same behavior there, because then I would move the focus from fetch to web streams instead.
Yeah. On top of that, I don't think fetch benchmarks reflect the truth. It doesn't include most of the hot paths that most people don't most people use in the real world. For example, previously it didn't include any query string into benchmarks. It didn't include any headers. So if you introduce headers, if you introduce query string, then benchmark results change. On top of that, I spent like considerable amount of time trying to understand the fetch code as well as the benchmark structure, but it's quite flaky. And I couldn't find a way to reduce that flakiness in order to defend any changes that I can promote like to the Undici repository. So maybe researching on improving the benchmarks of fetch in order to understand where we lack might be a better way before making any other changes to Undici.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I think makes sense, yeah. Okay, so in that, I think that was the last topic officially in the agenda. There is anything else that we want to discuss? Any additional topic or issue?
Well, I would just encourage us that are somewhat active in this repo to go through the issues and close and or add remove labels, just some little cleanup there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially help wanted. So if somebody jumps into the repo, they could see, you know, what issues. If I want to do something, where should I go?
Yeah, I think that sense also makes sense also maybe to assign issues to people who are leading them. So it's easy to know which one has a clear leader, no? So we can.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to share another announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Our performance became a strategic initiative of Node.js. and I was chosen as a champion for that initiative. So this is kind of good to know that performance is widely known as a strategic initiative for the future of Node.js.
So what does that mean in practice?
In practice, this means that there's an ongoing process about informing TSC and the Node community that follows TSC meetings about the improvements that we do to Node. It's mostly a bureaucratic phase of adding it to strategic initiative, but it's good to know in terms of the long, like the future of Node.js, that companies know that this is a strategic initiative and this is an important thing for us. That's my interpretation of having a strategic initiative, but Robert is a TSC member. I think he can explain this better than me.
I think you got it basically right. I mean, the direct side effects is mostly bureaucratic, but it does give some, marketing opportunities for the performance team, and making more people interested in the work we do and maybe contribute here. So therefore, it can be good to have interesting announcements on how things are going on the performance side, and also if there's anything specific we want help with, that's an opportunity to shout out there. FIA.
That's correct, yes.
I'm not quite sure how it works when the champion isn't on the TSC.
I think I need to respond to TSC meeting notes and say that update some news, but yeah, I actually wanted to discuss this with a TSC member because I'm not getting notified by those meeting notes, and if somehow I got CC'd automatically to that, it would make my life easier. Can you help me with that, Robert?
Yeah, I can. Please ping me on Slack about that, and I will chase that issue. And until then, I can ping you on the TSC. I'll try to remember to ping you on the issues.
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful for me. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Good. Any additional announcements or issues or things before we finish?
Actually, I forgot to say something. So there's a significant performance improvement that we can do, and in two things. One of them is the improved legacy CGS resolve. I opened an issue about it and how we can improve it. If you have any additional questions, I will be happy to answer them privately or publicly in the GitHub issue. The second one is there's a significant performance issue with path module, and 90% of the Node core calls path module while requiring and starting up. So any improvements that we can do to it will have significant performance impacts to all sub-modules that depend on it. And I'm planning to open an issue as well as a follow-up pull request in the next couple of weeks on this.
Sounds good. Yeah, we want to include those two initiatives on the agenda so we can start to, focus the attention of the people around it.
Okay.
Good. Anything else?
No, I think we're for now. Do we have anything interesting in the new Node version that comes with version 20? It was that too well-formed string inclusion, right?
Yes, to well-formed string. It's still a pending pull request because of the harmony flag. I think Legendekas, if I'm pronouncing the username correct, is blocking that because it's technically possible to disable that to well string implementation by adding a parameter. And if we do that, it will break the to USV string implementation, which would make Node unusable.
But can't we easily detect if the well-formed exists or not?
I don't know.
Because if we add it to primordials, then we could detect when we create the primordials whether that exists or not.
Yeah, we can't add it to primordials because it has a harmony flag.
So okay.
Yeah, that's one of the limitations that Targos Michael told me about, and I recently learned about that limitation. I implemented it without the primordials, and yeah, even by the way, in 2-3 weeks, it's going to go to stage 4 because both Chrome and Safari implemented it. But again, we will need to wait for the removal of the harmony flag in order to move that pull request.
But also there's a harmony flag in V8 10.0 still. Or what was it? 11.3. Okay.
Yeah, I think there is. I don't know. I think we should track when they remove it.
Are we using it in Undici?
The string well formed, I think we are using it. Kafra added a pull request in order to replace, in order to detect if to-val string exists. If not, it fallbacks to USV string right now.
Excellent. Yeah, I can see that. Good. Great. Yeah. I guess we're good then.
Perfect.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Cheers.
See ya.
See you.